I think there's fascinating news right now when it comes to Zebec. Zebec not too long ago announced that the Zebec Network partners with Archax for regulatory support under MiCA. MiCA is spelled MICA. It stands for Markets in Crypto Assets, and it's basically the Markets in Crypto Assets regulation. Now, this is for Europe, and I actually talked about what Zebec is trying to do when it comes to that in one of my previous videos. So we know the focus is there when it comes to Zebec, and we see this partnership with Archax, which again, they're partnering with them for regulatory support under MiCA. So I think this right here is such an amazing step in the right direction. Keep in mind, when it comes to Archax, it allegedly is the UK's first regulated RWA exchange. RWA stands for Real World Asset. And RWA tokens, they're digital representations of physical assets on the blockchain. Like for instance, they can be used for art, bonds, stocks. There's a lot of possibilities. But we know what Zebec is trying to work towards as well when it comes to RWAs. It's heavily focused on that. So anything regarding RWAs, anything regarding MiCA, I think anything that could kind of give a positive sentiment or more credibility towards Zebec when it comes to that, I think could be argued as a good thing. So I think this right here overall is fascinating news because even though Archax, in my perspective, like many friends that I know out there, don't know what it is. However, I think nonetheless it is a good step in the right direction. Keep in mind, when it comes to Zebec, it's not like it's really trying to reinvent the wheel, in my opinion, because it's focused on AI-based PayFi. A lot of other projects out there are focused on that. It's focused on payrolls. Other projects are focused on that too. It's focused on RWAs. Ondo is already heavily focused on RWAs, and Ondo is way more massive than Zebec. Zebec is focused on payments, global trade and finance. Well, so is Ripple, so is Stellar, way more massive than Zebec. Also, not to mention, Zebec focus on the cards. Now, Zebec cards, many projects out there have cards, but we have to consider how Zebec, there's more layers than just that, even though it's not necessarily doing anything that interesting in my perspective, because we have to consider kind of the backing that Zebec has. Circle, which is the creator of USDC, not only do they allegedly hold a significant amount of ZBCN, they're also one of the early backers when it comes to Zebec. In my perspective, something like Circle holding allegedly a big amount of ZBCN gives me this sense of stability because I don't think that Circle needs to be panic selling ZBCN anytime soon, maybe. I don't know their internals, but it doesn't seem like something that massive would need something like this. I don't think Circle even needs Zebec to begin with. They're massive anyways. I mean, how much does ZBCN even make up their entire portfolio? You know, it might be so negligible in the grand scheme of things considering how massive USDC is. But then at the same time, it kind of showcases that if something that massive even believes in a project which, despite the pump, by the way, and the slight pullback that we have right now, ZBCN is not necessarily this massive multi-billion-dollar project right now, currently. And especially not too long ago, it wasn't even that massive either. Or should I say way less massive than right now. So it kind of says something right there. And Solana Ventures, Solana doesn't need this as well, in my perspective. Solana's massive as it is. It's one of the biggest layer 1 blockchains out there. But the fact that Solana Ventures focuses on something like this, I'll look at that and say, wow. ZBCN, I get it. Some people are saying 10 cents seems a little bit far away because not too long ago ZBCN wasn't doing that good, had that pump, had that pullback, and during that peak of that most recent pump, it was around 11x when it comes to 10 cents, and then had a dip, and of course we saw the most recent pump, which, you know, ZBCN went to around that 20x range to go to the price of 10 cents, now there's a slight pullback, and people are saying, oh, it's just kind of hovering within this range, but we have to consider, we're not in a fully fledged type of altcoin season, in my perspective. We haven't really seen that massive type of 2021 type of attention when it comes to altcoins, at least yet, hypothetically, if it ever does. So if I view what I see on the price charts when it comes to ZBCN, I'm not going to be drawing some random triangles. I'm not going to be trying to say this is going to happen at this exact moment because I do not know the future. But then I think what ZBCN is doing in terms of the price charts, it's not necessarily anything too different than many other projects out there that we see right now. Many of them had a pretty good pump, had a pullback, had a good recovery, but then they never have really broken past a certain type of zone, so to speak. But then, at the same time, we haven't seen a fully fledged type of altcoin season. So how can I say that that is kind of the peak for ZBCN this cycle? Now, if there is a fully fledged type of altcoin season, and everything maybe starts kind of doing what it did back in 2021, and then ZBCN was still kind of stuck at that range, that's a different case. But we're not at that moment in time yet, I think, arguably right now. So I can't say that, oh, ZBCN is done for and all this. I can't say that because I haven't seen the space have that type of fully fledged type of altcoin season. So in the meantime, I'm going to stay patient, and kind of ZBCN even doing that to begin with is pretty impressive, considering how Zebec wasn't the most popular project out there. Circle didn't really talk much about Zebec, neither does Solana Ventures, at least that I know of. And still it kind of did that not too long ago. Pretty impressive in my perspective. Not to mention Zebec, I think, has a solid community. ZBCN has good exchange listings, even though it's not the best. I would like to see it do a lot better though. But only time will tell when it comes to that. Really depends on the exchanges. However, I like the passion, I like the drive, and I like kind of the perceived fundamentals when it comes to Zebec. Many people are kind of considering this as a miniature version of Ripple and Stellar, but having a Solana aspect. And historically, we've seen what happened to these Solana projects that had a little bit of popularity at a time when Solana really popped off. Take a look at how Bonk took off with Solana, right? A very popular Solana-based meme coin, which conveniently, by the way, Bonk did have somewhat of a partnership with the Zebec cards, so that's just a fun fact. We take a look at Jupiter, which kind of went along with the ride when it comes to Solana, a very popular decentralized finance project. Not to mention, we saw historically what happened to other meme coins like Dog with Hat, for instance. We take a look at Book of Meme. So now that Zebec has more popularity, there's that recognition now. Imagine once Solana really takes off, more than maybe what it does right now during a fully fledged type of altcoin season, ZBCN maybe at the price of 10 cents would not surprise me whatsoever. And it doesn't even feel that unrealistic to me. A market cap of around, let's say, $9 billion, which it would kind of have if, let's say, it did go to the price of 10 cents considering current circulating supply, around a 20x from here. Keep in mind, this market cap, many people are even predicting multiple meme coins to far exceed this during a fully fledged type of altcoin season, if we ever see one. This is not something too outlandish. Even many people would consider 10 cents to be bearish, but to me, I don't think it's bearish considering how much ZBCN has done historically, and not to mention, we have to consider how around a 20x even from right now to go to the price of 10 cents. That would still, to me, look even way better than maybe what I think Bitcoin and Ethereum could do during this cycle, because Bitcoin going to 300 grand, less than a 3x from here. Ethereum going to 10 grand, less than a 3x from here as well. Even if ZBCN just did a 10x from where it is as of right now, or even just a 5x, I would rather choose that over Bitcoin and Ethereum. I can't make a decision for anyone. This is just my decision making for me, myself. But then at the same time, I like what I see when it comes to ZBCN. It's done hypothetically pretty well. However, I think maybe there's still ways to go. I'm going to stay patient, dollar cost average, and just wait for a moment in time in which altcoins do pick up, because there is no way for me to tell the moment in which things will pick up. I did not know when ZBCN was going to do well back then, but I was just preparing though the entire time. I do not know what's going to happen in the future. So what can I do? Prepare for a moment in which maybe it does well. That's pretty much it. If someone told me, hey, I saw this price chart and said that altcoins are going to do this at this time, I just don't believe it, because how do they know the future? I also do not know the future. All I can do is prepare, and that's it. So that's what I'm going to do. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I would greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch you all in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.